Hi, I am Don Blackwell, and I am the Executive Director of the Gospel Broadcasting Network. Welcome to this episode of Truth on Wheels. Sometimes we do episodes that I call coping, in which we talk to members of the church who have had great tragedies or they're dealing with hardships in their lives, and we interview them, and we talk about these things in a very open way. And the reason I started doing this was several years ago after my accident that has left me a paraplegic. As I've talked about it, a lot of people have said that it has helped them. And so I had the idea, let's talk to other Christians and let the things they're going through and their experiences be a help to other people. Today, I have with me Brother David Paden and his wife, Kelly. I'm in, I want to say Lafayette. It's Lafayette, right? Lafayette, Georgia. David is a gospel preacher. He's a faithful man. He's a writer. He's a longtime friend of mine. We go back for 30 years because we were classmates together in the Memphis School of Preaching. In fact, I am scheduled to do a gospel meeting here in October of 2024 this year. And I'm looking forward to that very much. But thanks to both of you for letting me be here with you today. I have prepared a list of questions, and I don't know if you've seen the questions yet, Kelly, but I did send them to David so that he could be looking over them in advance. Anything you don't feel comfortable with, you don't have to answer, but I wanted to ask some very real questions because a lot of times people just don't understand the difficulties that people face, and it's helpful for them to find out. So what David has, his condition is ALS, also Lou Gehrig's disease, right? This is actually the second interview I've done regarding ALS. We became very familiar with it because Sherry's mother, Sherry, my wife, her mother died of ALS in 2017, and we were her caretaker, and so we learned all about ALS, and it is such a difficult thing, and as a caregiver, it's such a difficult thing. And then just a few months ago in February of this year, we interviewed Brother Kevin Patterson, preacher in Florida, and his wife is named Sherry, and she has ALS, and it's very advanced, and so this is something I'm familiar with, but the audience might not be very familiar with it. So can you tell me exactly what Lou Gehrig's disease is?
ALS is a nervous system disease where nerve cells break down, which weakens muscles and impacts physical function.
I've got to stop and say something about this machine that he has. I was going to bring it up earlier, but this thing is incredible. That is David's real voice. If you know David, that is what he is. He sounded like. He didn't used to be quite so robotic, but that's basically, that's his voice. And do you do it with your eyes? Okay. So you can look at it, and you answered that quickly. Oh, you already had it. Okay. I was thinking, man, you are amazing, but you cheated. So, okay. All right. Well, that's good. This is great because he can hear the questions and then he can answer them in his own voice. Technology is such a good thing. It's helped him. It's helped me. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing if it weren't for technology. I guess it is attributed to Lou Gehrig's. He was the first one it was linked to. Do you know? Yeah, that's right. Most people know it as Lou Gehrig's, not ALS disease. When did you first find out that you had ALS?
I began showing symptoms in November of 2021, but doctors couldn't figure out what was wrong. I was finally sent to a neurologist in Augusta, Georgia that specializes in ALS, and they diagnosed me on October the 7th of 2022 with ALS.
So about 2.5 years you've known about it, but probably you'd had it for some time prior to that. Okay. Obviously, your mind is still good. It hasn't, ALS doesn't affect your mind, does it? It's just your body.
Sometimes it does, but
Sometimes. Okay. Well, David's mind still seems, it's as good as it ever was. It's never that great, but I'm just kidding, David. But the next question I wanted to ask is, can you tell me about the progression that you've experienced since the time that you first realized?
ALS affects people differently. Mine began with the twitching of muscles in my left arm. Then the twitching led to weakness in my left arm. And then it moved into my right arm and then into my legs. As ALS progressed, at first it limited my mobility, so I had to walk with a cane and then with a walker and then to my wheelchair. Right now, I can't my arms or hands, and I very little strength in my legs.
That is amazing to listen to you in your own voice talking like this. This is just amazing to me. I am glad I sent the questions ahead of time and you could do this. Wow. Is ALS inherited?
Doctors can't tell if ALS is hereditary or not. As far as I can tell, I'm the only one in my family who has had ALS.
Okay. And I think the same in our family with regard to Sherry's mother. We don't know anyone else that had it. But the lady Sherry Patterson, I believe two people prior to her and her family had passed from ALS. So that makes you...
Sometimes it is in families, but then sometimes they just don't know what caused it.
Okay, sometimes it is, and
As far as we know, it's not inherited in his family.
Okay. All right. Do you know anything about your life expectancy at this point?
The life expectancy of an ALS patient is between 2 and 5 years, but some live as much as 10 years. October the 7th will be 2 years for me.
Okay. All right. You are still the preacher at Lafayette, Georgia. That's amazing. It is great that you are pressing ahead. You are still writing. Paul Sane just gave me a collection of your books, and I thought about putting them on the GBN website. I was going to talk to you about that, and so I won't put you on the spot on the air, but it would be nice to make those available for people to be able to use, because you've read, how many books have you written, do you know?
Yeah.
Nine books. Okay, and you're still working on some, right?
Yeah.
What are you doing currently?
Prison epistle.
The prison epistles. Okay. How long have you been here at Lafayette?
November will be 10 years.
10 years. Okay. And of course, you're married. This is your wife, Kelly, that's with you. How many kids do y'all have?
4.
4 kids. Okay. Okay. You've got the next question, since I sent it to you, was how many kids and what are their ages?
My wife is Kelly. This past Friday was our 22 years anniversary.
Wow.
We have 4 children, 3 girls and a boy. Olivia is our oldest daughter. She's 19, and she just got married 3 weeks ago. Madison is our second daughter, and she's 18. Riley is our third daughter, and she's 16. And our son Andrew is 13.
Okay. Well, that is 4 teenagers. Wow. Y'all really do have some hardship. We need to do another interview just about that. So, now, are you still teaching and preaching at this point?
I'm preaching every Sunday night, and I teach a class every Monday night at the Chattanooga School of Preaching.
Wow, you're amazing, David, that you are still doing all of that in your situation. You truly are. People tell me all the time you're an inspiration. You're an inspiration to me, brother. I appreciate it. I see you've got some amazing technology. I've already mentioned it several times because I'm so taken back by it. Can you tell me about some of the equipment that you have at this point that's assisting you?
My speaking device is called the Toby Dynavox. I can no longer use my hands to type, but this device has eye gaze technology, which allows me to type my message with my eyes. Once I've typed my message, I tell it to speak, and it speaks for me. And incidentally, it speaks in my own voice. When I was first diagnosed with ALS, Kelly and I did what was called voice banking. I spent a few hours speaking words, phrases, and sentences while it recorded my voice. When I received my Toby, Kelly uploaded my voice to it. Now, ain't that just super cool? And I recently had a device ad which allows me to drive my wheelchair with my eyes.
Wow. Does it take long to type? Like that answer you just gave was fairly lengthy. Does it take very long to type it with your eyes?
Okay.
It does.
A 30-minute sermon.
About a day and a half.
It takes you how long?
A day and
A day and a half.
A day and a half to type a 30-minute sermon? Wow. Well, you know, sometimes people have told me listening to one of my 30-minute sermons feels like a day and a half. So that's not too bad then. Wow, a day and a half. That says something about your perseverance too. It really does. Wow. I see you've got another piece of equipment here. What is that one, or is that part of this?
That's the what allows him to drop the wheelchair with his eye.
Oh, okay. So you look at this with your eyes, and it navigates the wheelchair.
Yeah, go ahead. He still looks at the Toby, but I'm not sure what this does, but they had to add it.
Okay. Is that easy to navigate with your eyes?
It's hard, but he's getting
Okay.
as long as there's not a glare. I've ordered an umbrella to go over it so that he can draw it out.
I have not thought about that. The sun being on it would mess up it being able to see. Now, you don't ever bump into anything in the house, do you? I try to be really careful of that, but it is hard when you got your legs sticking out in front of you, and so
All the doorways are beat up, but
that's okay. In the scheme of things, you know, that really doesn't make any difference. This is probably a personal question, and y'all don't have to answer it, but having lived through some of these things myself, I feel like I can ask things. Has all of this put a financial strain on the family?
Don, that has been the least of my worries. When I was first diagnosed with ALS, the eldership met with me and told me not to worry about anything financially. They were going to continue my regular salary, and they would help me with any medical bills.
Wow, that is touching, and it's amazing. The brethren are incredible. After my accident, the outpouring of love and support and the medical bills I had exceeded $1 million, and people were donating to help with that and purchase equipment, and sounds like you've got some really good folks here. I'm looking forward to being with y'all in a few months for the meeting. You have a very positive attitude, and one of the purpose, you've always had a positive attitude. I've always admired your calm demeanor and your uplifting attitude. One of the purposes for doing this coping segment is to let people who are struggling see other people who are going through very difficult things, but who have a proper outlook. So can you tell me what keeps you going? What keeps you with this positive outlook?
First, The Lord keeps me going. Second, my good wife Kelly keeps me going. Don, when I say that she does everything for me, I mean she does everything. She not only selflessly cares for me and shares with the love like I've never known, and she also strives to help me maintain a positive attitude. Finally, my church family keeps me going. The encouragement that they give me is amazing.
You are blessed to have her, and you're blessed to have him. Absolutely. I put this as a second question or a secondary question just to see if you had anything more to add, but how do you have such a positive attitude?
Don, I must give that credit to the Lord.
That's a great answer. You know, I talk to Christians frequently, and they are people that are healthy and they have everything going for them, and they're just down on the world and everything is terrible, or some tragedy hits and it's just woe unto me. But to see somebody that's going through the things like you are, but you've got a positive attitude and you attribute it to Christianity, that's exactly why I'm doing this kind of a program. So I couldn't have hoped that you were going to give a better answer than that. Do you have any Bible passages that are particularly encouraging to you at this point?
My favorite scripture is 2 Corinthians chapter 4 and verses 16 through 18. Therefore we do not lose heart. Even though our outward man is perishing, yet the inward man is being renewed day by day. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, is working for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. While we do not look at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporary, but the things which are not seen are eternal.
That's great. You know, for years I've said my favorite passage is 1 John 5:13, dealing with the fact that we can know these things I've written unto you, that you may know that you have eternal life. But it's still one of my favorites. But Philippians 1:21 and 23, I've started to think maybe my favorites, that to live is Christ and to die is gain. And then verse 23, where Paul says, King James says, I'm in a straight or twixt between, a straight betwixt two, I think is how he says it. We don't talk that way, but he says, I'm torn between two things. To be here for the brethren is more profitable for you, but he says to depart and be with the Lord is far better. And when you get to the point that you're dealing with difficulty so extreme, you can appreciate that in a different way, catch him. Yeah. How are you occupying your time? It has to take you a lot longer to do virtually everything. You said Kelly does everything for you. I guess if it takes that long to do a sermon, that occupies a lot of your time, but what are you doing to keep your mind occupied?
I spend my entire day, every day, studying the Bible. Though the movement of my body is very limited, my mind is still as clear as it ever was.
Wow.
I can add a little bit to this. He is mostly in the hospital bed during the day, but I prop his arms up so that he can still kind of move the mouse.
Okay.
And he also uses his Toby.
Okay. So he can move the mouse a little. You can move your hand enough to move the mouse. Okay. Well, Kelly, I didn't give you questions in advance, but I'll put you on the spot. You're a caregiver. Do you work a job also?
I do. I work part-time, just in the basement, but thankfully I can work online.
Okay. Okay, well, that is good. So you're working a job, and you're a full-time caregiver, and you're a mother of 4 teenagers. Wow. You're an amazing lady. Yes, absolutely. And,
I homeschool.
and a homeschool. Wow.
I'll just
2 are already graduated, but the younger 2.
We need to do a special just on you. Wow. Well, that is amazing. I just can't, when I was in the hospital, they said that a lot of people's spouses, after an accident that leaves you a paraplegic or something of this nature, a lot of people's spouses leave and they say, I didn't sign up for this, and they just leave their spouse in that condition. But like my wife, she's been there with me every step of the way, and they're a godsend.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you being with me and you being with me. Thank you so much, and thanks for being willing to open up and share some personal things that I think should help other people.
Yeah.
Love and appreciate you both, and I've always admired and respected you, and even more so now than I ever have.
All right. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Well, thank you for joining us for this episode of Truth on Wheels. Until next time, stay faithful.